Hello everyone, Alec here with a presentation on Floop, a feedback loop technology. Their tagline is give meaningful feedback fast. So here are some lesson ideas, some pros and cons, tips for using Floop, and an assessment of the technology overall. You can find it at floopedu.com. So here are some basics. Students can submit their work from a desktop, a tablet, or mobile devices. They can submit all types of files, image files, PDFs, Google Docs, and much more. And so you can have students even take a picture with their phone of homework they're having trouble with or a work in progress, send it to you, and then you can get back to them with an answer to their question or some feedback or encouragement to keep trying and keep going. So again, Floop's main purpose is to give feedback quickly. You can leave text or audio comments and immediately send them to students. And it provides opportunities for direct and engaging feedback. You can add comments if they're working on an image or something. You can put comments directly onto the image, or you can put comments anywhere on a text document and have students interact with those comments. And so Floop really is designed to support engagement. You can start conversations about students, uh, about their work, even if it's a work in progress. And you can make opportunities for resubmits clear and easy and have them work to integrate that feedback into improving their work. So here's one lesson idea I thought of. You can have students create an infographic like the one I'm showing you now, or some sort of poster for a historical event, novel, a science project, anything you're working on in whatever content area. And then you really break down how to go about making it, giving steps like finding images, deciding on the text, and getting it ready to publish. And you have students take pictures and submit and document their progress. And this will give students an opportunity to ask questions if they're confused, or you can steer students in the right direction and set them up for success. And so really my idea with this is that teachers have been developing all types of creative projects over the years, and that those shouldn't have to, they shouldn't be concerned about continuing those if we're moving to remote learning. Is you just have to break them down more step by step maybe, and then you can still have students really create these really cool creative projects. And then again, they'll submit them on Floop and you can give all sorts of good feedback. And so another lesson idea is setting up peer conferencing for students to give feedback to each other. And so you can have students submit and set up a peer review for a writing assignment all in one place. You can really break it down for learners who need to learn the skills of peer review, peer conferencing, giving peer feedback. So you can set specific tasks or questions, really giving them a step-by-step guide to give the best feedback possible. You can track completion, who's reviewed whose work, and really monitor how peers are interacting over the platform. And then eventually you can give your own feedback alongside what peers have said. And then it might be really cool to eventually see how those peer comments were integrated or reflected in a final submission or resubmission down the line. Some pros and cons to using Floop. I really do think that Floop opens up our opportunities to give feedback quickly, but also in a very engaging way. It's really helpful that students can ask questions about assignments they're confused on, and teachers can sort of monitor progress as it's going. But the problem might be that you have to set those expectations for use. You don't want students to send you a question in the middle of the night that you're not going to get to. So you have to set expectations for how the technology can be used. And then it's yet another digital place for students to collect their work. If you're already using something like Google Drive and it's working well for you, then this is yet another place for them to have to remember to submit. And for students who maybe aren't as good at using some of these technologies, it's yet another interface for students to have to navigate. Some ideas for learner differentiation. I think that there's a lot that can be done with Floop, ranging from students just taking pictures of homework to having these really full-blown dynamic remote peer conferencing activities. And so some ideas you can use Floop to help scaffold assignments for learners who need extra support, really breaking it down step by step. And then it really helps to create a feedback loop with students who might be a lower level, giving them opportunities for resubmits and setting them up to succeed and improve. For higher level students, it can help integrate and foster independent learning through self-assessment. You can set up like checklists or tasks for students to review their own work after they submitted it and really reflect on what they've been doing. And for complex tasks like peer conferencing, you set up a digital environment for collaboration, and it really gives students a great opportunity to practice the skill, such an important skill, of giving constructive feedback. Again, I have alternative tools over here. If you're using something like Google Classroom and you like the feedback feature, it's working for you, it's working for your students. If it isn't broken, don't fix it. Floop is just another option. And maybe some of the cool features of Floop will eventually be integrated into other technologies, and you don't need a separate platform to really do some of the cool things. And just a final note on assessment of Floop. I think Floop helps teachers, or has the potential to help teachers rise to the challenge of giving engaging and valuable feedback on the creative projects their students are making, with things like PictoChart that I'm using right now, all sorts of cool platforms out there for creative work. It really helps teachers do their part by making or giving engaging feedback on those creative projects. And so whether you're giving feedback before a project on a rough draft or students have questions, or you're giving feedback after a final submission, it really helps you open a dialogue with the student about assessment. It helps open up that dialogue so you're on the same page in terms of how students are being assessed, which might be really important over remote learning. And I'd say finally, in theory, at least, Floop provides a very useful platform for submitting work, answering questions, giving feedback, and setting up peer conferences. Teachers, at the end of the day, will have to decide whether it works for them and their students. Again, if you're using something to do all these things that's working for you, then it's really maybe not something that you need to consider. But starting from scratch myself, I see a lot of potential to do some cool things with Floop. And so I hope you learned something. Thanks for watching.